Hi, welcome to Chad's Silversmithing. Today I thought I'd do something that kind of harkens back to a piece I did a while back that I called, actually two pieces that I called brick rings, I think. I'm going to do kind of a similar bracelet. It's going to be kind of blocky looking and thick and heavy. And I'm not sure why I'm doing it when silver is so expensive right now, but I'm going to do it anyway because I kind of want to. So we'll see how it turns out, but it should be a good project, and I think it'll be kind of an intermediate level project. The prep time for this one was quite a bit because I had to do a little bit of sawing on some thick slabs, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But let's get started. So this is one of my design idea sketchbooks that you can get on my merch store. This particular one has some information about different soldering melting temperatures, and the real feature for me though is the dot matrix in the background, which helps me to draw better pictures. I don't generally draw all that well, but this helps me to keep things a little bit more symmetrical. So I find it a great way to keep track of my projects and a way to look back at things I've done in the past and know how to do it again. This is a little bit like the brick ring, like I said, that I made a while back. I made two different versions, one that had a texture on top of the little bricks and one that didn't. And I may oxidize this one in the cavities in between, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of 18 gauge sheet, which I cut out earlier just for time's sake. This is a little bit, this is about 6 inches long, or 15 centimeters-ish. I don't remember exactly. Yeah, about pretty close to 6 inches. And this is an 18 gauge sheet, which is 1 millimeter thick, and we'll use that as the base. And one of the things I get asked when I'm doing something like this is, why don't I solder the pieces on that I'm going to put on top of this while it's flat? And the answer to that is, the stuff that I'm going to use is about almost 3 millimeters thick. I've rolled out some 4 millimeter slabs of silver that I cast the other day out of some scrap until they're a little bit thinner, and then I'm going to cut little bricks out of them and solder them on here. But the thing is, this is so thick, and it's going to be soldered in various places with space in between it. When I go to bend it, if I do it flat, it's going to bend very easily where there's no brick soldered, but it's not going to bend very easily where there is a brick. So it's going to be really hard to get a smooth, consistent bend around there. It's going to be pretty thick overall when I'm done. So I spent a couple hours after I rolled this slab into a little bit thinner sheet. I don't know if I'd go so far as to call it a sheet, it's still kind of a slab. But and then I spent quite a bit of time sawing these out. So it's going to take a little bit of prep time, and I hope I have these ones here. This one I cut 2 pieces off just for a test drive because I wanted to see, you know, how those will go. But so we'll be soldering this on like this. But like I said, I'm going to shape it round before I do that, or at least wrist shaped, I should say. So that'll be our first step, and then we'll start soldering these pieces on. I'm going to have to go back and cut more of these as I go. I think, what did I say these were? I measured these earlier. 10.8 is what I got on this thing here. Yeah, about. So these are slightly longer, theoretically. That way they'll stick off a little bit and I can file off the excess. So, okay, so let's shape this and get this show on the road. And then we'll go back and I'll let you watch me saw a few of these, but you probably don't have to watch me saw all of them. But let's find the bracelet mandrel and go from there. I may cut this shorter too, I don't know. I haven't decided if I want it to be a full 6 inches long. That's going to make for a pretty good sized bracelet. If you don't have a bracelet mandrel like this, I didn't have one for years. You can use a baseball bat. I've seen people use rolling pins. There's a lot of different things you can do to improvise with silversmithing. If you want to see those brick rings that I made a while back, I think it was probably almost 2 years ago, maybe 2 years or so ago. I'll put a link up here for you. Check those out. I really like the way those ones came out. So I'm looking forward to this one, and I hope it turns out cool too. I've seen similar things in retail stores. That may be where I got the original idea. I don't remember for sure. But so I can't say I'm the inventor of this basic idea. So all credit goes to whoever first came up with this, but this is going to be my take on it. Then I got to figure out a way to position this. I'll probably be using a third hand to kind of hold it in place. Something like this maybe, so I can keep it positioned. And then it seems to me the easiest way to do this is going to be to sweat some solder on here, flux everything, and just place it where it goes. Heat the whole thing till it flows. Do the same thing to the next one. Do it. You see, I start on this one. I mark the center, which is going to be right here, and then we'll go one on either side of it, and then we'll go horizontal ones like this, and then I'm going to try and do 3 with split ones down there, and then 2 more, and then just kind of keep going down. So it's going to be a lot of repetition probably, but I think it'll turn out pretty cool. We'll see. Okay, so if you want to see about my torch and soldering setup, I'll put some information there for you. I'm going to cut myself some solder up front here. I don't think this is going to be technically difficult. It just may be time consuming and require numerous soldering operations. So it's also one of those things, there's enough mass in the piece that you probably won't be able to get by with one of those little butane portable torches, because it'll be difficult to get it up to the temperature you need to really get a good solder joint with this much metal. And so make sure you're using a hot enough torch if you're doing something with this kind of size. Sorry about the little finger caught on my thumb here. I kept filing my thumb. So you can either just place some pieces of solder on the back of this if you want, or you could pick it on there. I tend to pick solder things, so if I change over to doing that in a minute, if you'll forgive me. It's kind of how I do things most of the time. I think, given the cost of silver right now, this is going to end up being an expensive bracelet, so I hope it turns out cool. Otherwise it may end up getting reprocessed into something else. So. If you're new to this, it may seem counterintuitive that I'm heating the entire thing, but with silver, that's kind of what you got to do in order to get both pieces up to soldering temperature. So. This thing's trying to tip over on me. So. Let's go cut a few more. I'm going to cool this off. We'll cut a few more and then we'll see how it goes. Okay, so let's go over to the sawing area and cut a few more of these. One thing I've been doing is to make sure I'm starting with a pretty flat side. I'll use my miter vise jig if you have one of these. These are handy for getting a nice flat surface on things. Alright, let's go do some sawing. Okay, I've got this set about 11.35 or so millimeters. And scratch a line in there, then we'll just cut it along that line. So I'm using a 00 on this. Okay, there's two more. Let's go back and solder those on, and then I'm going to go off camera and solder and cut a whole bunch of these. One thing, be careful when you're sawing. I've actually, the worst time I ever hurt myself metalsmithing was when I was sawing. Saw blades can be very sharp. And those little tiny teeth cut right through skin and tissue very quickly. really, when you're doing this kind of soldering, it's really important to make sure that both pieces reach in the case of the solder that I'm using, which is hard silver sheet solder, 1450 degrees Fahrenheit, in order that in order that you get a good connection between the two pieces. Because if only one side reaches that temperature, it's really not going to form a good bond, and it'll probably break off. Okay, so when we come back, I'll do the next ones, which are going to be a couple going this way, like that. So, and I didn't draw them to scale, I just kind of hand drew them. So I'll make them the same length as these ones, I think. And then we'll go from there. So I got a bunch of these cut, and the next step we're going to do is we're going to be putting these this way, and so I need to curve them a little bit since they're longer this way. And I'm going to use this little swaging thing that I made out of a block of really hard wood. And so we're going to just curve these a little bit. Hopefully that's within your view here. It doesn't have to be very much. Oops. Just enough to do that. Right? Okay, so I did two of them before I got on camera to make sure it would work okay. One thing I kind of want to do, I got a little bit of gap there on that one after I pickled it for a while. So I might pick a little solder in there real quick before I do the next stage. But I'm also going to pick some solder on the back side of these. That looks about right. I had a little sag going on with the bracelet, so I'm going to try and get that to... Let's try and undo that. Nobody wants a saggy bracelet. Well, let's do that and see how it goes. Okay. Okay, the next ones I think are 2, and we'll go from there. So I'm going to do 4 more, and then then we got to do the ones where we got 3, like this. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that or not. Well, actually, I did that. That's the ones that are next, actually. Do I want to do that? I was iffy about doing those ones anyway. I think I'm going to skip that and make it just like this. So we'll do 2 more of those on either side. So I got it most of the way done, and I think I'm going to end it right here, actually. I'm going to cut those off and make it slightly shorter. I don't really think I want to go additional distance on this one. I may go back in and pick a little more solder in there. And so I may spend some time filing this up and seeing where it needs a little loving care. And then we'll pickle it up and polish it, and we'll see how it looks. So I gotta say, it's a heavy bracelet, so this one's gonna be costly. All right, I'll be back in a bit. All right, I have a final outcome here. I did do some oxidizing in the little cracks, and I decided to not give it a high polish on the top because I kind of like how it's a little bit coarse. But on the sides I did. On the inside I got a little bit of fire coat because I heated it up over and over again so many times. So I may have to work on that some more to get rid of it. But I like it. I think it's pretty cool. Sort of modern and heavy. It is very heavy actually. So it's about 1.5 ounces of silver. So it's definitely going to have a pretty high price tag right now anyway. But that's kind of what I was looking for. So let me know what you think, what you would do differently. I already told you why I do it not flat. It's because this would be hard to bend in an even way afterwards. And so that's my technique. Tell me what you think. All right, well, that was a thick kind of brick bracelet. I hope you enjoyed that one. If you did, make sure to hit the like button before you go. I would love it if you'd also visit my main channel page. I have almost 700 videos now, so I've been doing it for 3 per week for 4 years now, so there's quite a bit of content there. And there's almost certainly something else useful or interesting for you over there. So check it out. There's tons of projects, lots of skills. It's a great resource for people of almost all different levels. So check it out. I'd also love it if you'd subscribe to my channel. There's no cost to that, and it helps me out a great deal. I wanted to thank some people. First off, my patrons over on Patreon are my core group of supporters, and I have 2 new ones. I have Amy J. and Ramsey S. Thank you for signing up. I appreciate your support. I think you'll find that it's a great group of people over there whose brains you can pick and who you can share your information with and show your projects to and ask for input. It's a nice place over there, and I think you'll like it. So thank you to my previous patrons as well for making it such a nice place. The other group are my YouTube subscribers, and we just passed 26,800, I think. That's amazing. I can't believe that every time I think about those numbers. You guys are awesome. I appreciate the nice comments and the suggestions for videos and sharing your stories, and that kind of stuff is really it really makes this more of a human experience, and I appreciate that instead of just kind of talking into the void. So thanks for that. I do also appreciate your financial support, the buy me a coffees, the super thanks, the buying my merch and my ebooks. That stuff all makes my channel sustainable, and I do appreciate that immensely. One last thing, you might want to visit the video description. There's information about this video, but there's also some links there. There's a link to my newest ebook, which is 2025's tutorial guide. It's got a page for each of the tutorials I did in 2025. It includes a link to the tutorial. It includes a picture of the sketch that I drew, a picture of the final product, a list of materials, stone information if there's a stone in it, difficulty rating, and some notes I took about the project, like things like, did I learn something from it, or did I think of a better way to do it afterwards, or did I think it turned out poorly and I would do it differently next time. So it's a great way to have a whole bunch of projects right at your fingertips and a nice way to support my channel. You can even get all 3 years that I've done this for, 2023, 2024, 2025, as a package deal, and you get $15 off if you buy that one. So thanks in advance for that. I really appreciate it. The other links are, there's a link to my Patreon if you want to find out a little bit more about that community and the various tiers of membership over there. And there's a link to my merch store if you want to get yourself one of those nice design idea sketchbooks that I showed you at the beginning. I find those to be invaluable and a great way to keep track of what I'm working on and jot down ideas and things like that. So get yourself a couple of those. They're great. All right, well, thanks for watching today. I appreciate your support. Take care. Happy silversmithing.